All right, let's talk about something that trips up a lot of people in the DIY solar world. You ever look at your setup and think, can I just, add more panels? Like more than your gear is officially rated for? Well, today we're going to find out what really happens when you push your solar controller past its limits.
I mean, it's a super tempting idea, right? The logic seems sound. Maybe you can get a little better performance on those cloudy days, or squeeze out just a bit more power early in the morning and late in the afternoon. So you think, hey, why not just add another panel? But the big question is, can your system actually handle it? Let's dig in.
Okay, so let's get right to it. We're tackling the overpaneling question head-on to see exactly what happens when your panel wattage is way more than your controller's capacity.
And to really wrap our heads around this, we're going to look at a specific 1,000-watt scenario. This is a real-world test case, where the theory meets reality. So check out this setup. We've got 5 200-watt panels, which gives us a grand total of 1,000 watts of potential power. Awesome, right? But here's the catch. They're all wired up to a 60-amp PWM controller, and that little guy is only rated for 750 watts. So you can see the problem. We've got a 250-watt mismatch. So what happens to all that extra power?
Yeah, this is what everyone worries about, right? You're picturing smoke, sparks, maybe even a little explosion, a totally fried controller. But you'll be relieved to know the reality is, well, it's a lot less dramatic and a lot more just wasteful.
So what really goes down? Well, it's not some kind of disaster. It's actually what you'd call a bottleneck effect. So the result isn't fireworks. And this is probably the most important thing to get right off the bat. Connecting a higher wattage panel array isn't going to destroy your controller. It's actually designed to protect itself.
So here's what's really happening. The controller basically acts like a bouncer at a club. It sees that full 1,000 watts trying to get in, but it has a strict limit. It's only going to let its maximum rated current, in this case 60 amps, pass through to the battery. And what about that extra 250 watts of potential power? Poof, it's just gone. It's simply ignored, completely unharvested.
Okay, so now that we know what happens, let's understand why. Why is there a limit in the first place? And honestly, it all just boils down to some pretty simple math.
So why is this controller rated at 750 watts? It's not just some random number they picked. It's a direct calculation. Okay, look, your system voltage is 12 volts. The controller has a hard limit of 60 amps. You multiply those two, 12 volts times 60 amps, and you get 720 watts. The manufacturer just kind of rounds that up to a nice clean 750 for the label. That's the absolute max power it can safely handle.
And this whole limitation thing, it's really baked into the technology of PWM controllers. See, a PWM, that stands for pulse width modulation, is a pretty simple device. What it does is it basically pulls the panel's voltage down to match the battery's voltage. It works, but it's not all that efficient. Now this is where the more advanced MPPT controllers come in. They're way smarter. They can actually take that extra voltage and convert it into more charging current, which means you get more of the power you're actually producing.
Yeah, that quote really hits a nail on the head. The controller is the pot, and it decides what gets in. To make this even clearer, let's look at a couple of really simple analogies that I think make this super easy to understand.
Okay, first up, the water pipe analogy. Imagine you've got 5 people, and they're all trying to fill a giant water tank, but they all have to pour their water through one single, small pipe. It doesn't matter how much water they bring, right? The flow is always going to be limited by the size of that pipe. In this case, your charge controller is that small pipe. Or, how about this one? The cooking pot analogy. Let's say you have 5 huge bags of rice. That's all your potential solar power. But you only have one small cooking pot. Well, you can only cook as much rice as that pot can hold, right? All that extra rice is just wasted potential. It's sitting there, but you can't use it. Your controller, that's the cooking pot.
All right, so after all that, what's your final takeaway? What does all of this mean for your solar setup?
Look, here it is in a nutshell. Overpaneling a PWM controller is safe. It's not going to blow up. But, and this is a big but, it is super inefficient. You are literally throwing away free energy from the sun. You've paid good money for those panels, and your system just can't use them to their full potential. So here's the bottom line. You really want to keep your solar panel capacity within your PWM controller's rated range. Adding a whole bunch more wattage is not going to increase your charging speed. All it does is result in wasted potential power from your panels. For max efficiency, you've got to match your components correctly right from the get-go.
So we've answered one really big question today. You now know your controller's limit. But it kind of opens the door to another, bigger question, doesn't it? Is your system truly optimized? Because knowing one limit is great, but getting the absolute most out of every single ray of sunlight, well, that's the real game.